Hey, how we doing today? We're going to change things up a little bit. We're just trying to get you through this trying time. But instead of teaching how to do some kind of crafty thing and have a little fun, I was reminded last night when somebody was messaging me, because, you know, social distancing, we can't really talk, that some people come in here for the stories I tell. I can't imagine why, but they do. And some of them even like the stories. So I decided to do one of the most requested stories I have, and Sarah, this one's for you. So a little bit south of Canton, Ohio, there's a little tiny town where, well, let's just say the family trees don't branch. And there's two fellows that live there, Jethro and Billy Bob, and they're neighbors, and they're good friends. And one day, Jethro was on his way over to Billy Bob's, and he noticed that the light was on in Billy Bob's barn, and he thought that was odd. So he walked over and he peeked in the door, and there was Billy Bob in there, in front of his John Deere, and he was dancing, and he was doing a little bit of this, kind of like that. John Deere's back here, and then he turned around and he kind of shook it at him, and then he took his bib overall and he unbuttoned the one strap on it, and he threw it over his shoulder and he held up the bib and he did this, and then he turned around this way and he undid the strap on this side and he threw it over his shoulder, and then he did some of this, and then he turned around and he finally bent over and he dropped his hands and the bib dropped off and he shook it, and then he turned to this side and he started unbuttoning the buttons on his overalls one by one. And he got down to the end and he kind of did a little of this and a little of that, and then he turned to this side and he started unbuttoning the buttons on his overalls till they was all done, and he did some of this and he did some of that, and then he turned this way and he let them drop, and he stood there and he danced a little, and then he stepped out of his bibs, and then with the other foot he just kind of kicked them away, and he did some of this, and he turned around and he did a little of this, and there he was just in his long johns, and then he unbuttoned the buttons on his long johns, and he did a little this and this, and then he turned around and he unbuttoned the one button on the flap of his long john, and he did a little of this, and then he unbuttoned the button on the other one, and he did a little of this, and then right before he was getting ready to let them drop, Jethro went, "Billy Bob, what in the blue blazes are you doing?" And Billy Bob went, "Oh my goodness, Jethro, you startled me. I didn't know anybody was watching." He goes, "Yeah, well, I was, and what in the blue blazes are you doing to the John Deere?" He says, "Well, it's like this. You know, me and the wife, Ethel, well, we've been having some problems in the bedroom. It just seems like she's not interested in me anymore. So I went to Doc Johnston and I told him that Ethel didn't seem interested in me anymore in the bedroom. And Doc Johnson told me, well, perhaps you need to get her interested in you by doing a sexy dance to a tractor." And there it is. Y'all stay safe out there, and we're here for you if you need us.